Hi, Siri. I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
We're live. It is PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Trying to do something here real quick. It is Wednesday. We're going to have JC here on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And then we will just talk sports today. What else is there to talk about? Let's go to the Titan No More Hotline, by the way. And we are joined by Corn Dog himself. He's back for a day, and then he's road tripping again. That's what he does.
Man, it's a lot this summer, but not a problem on Delta yesterday. Coming from Chicagoland, got in last night and getting ready to head out to Dallas. Big game Saturday with the Orioles and the Rangers. And, of course, in Dallas right now, QB, we have SEC Media Days. And today at 10 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock local time, you will have the Florida Fighting Gators represented by three good players and head coach Billy Napier. And you got two offensive guys in Johnson and Mertz. And then, of course, Shamar James, who I hope gets a lot of attention. He's a linebacker, and he's the guy that's going to be one of the leaders on a unit that is required to be very much better than last year. So that, some of the questions I hope they ask Shamar James will be, how do you guys expect to improve from last year to this year? And he'll go off and say the boilerplate answer. But I hope they really get into some things in specifics, like, rushing the passer or doing certain stunts, doing certain things, blitzing, not blitzing, whatever the case is for defensive players. You know more than I do about that, but I know this. If a guy can't tackle, it's all going to fail. So we've got to get guys lined up who want to headhunt and tackle players. And if they can do that, look for a much improved year. And that's, a big day for Billy and his guys, because they're going to ask him about they're going to ask them about the schedule. They're going to ask them about being on the hot seat. They're going to ask them about how they're going to improve this, that, and all these questions, right? Not earth-shattering questions, but those are the main ones, I think.
Yes, for sure. And my public service announcement for today, it will not matter if the Gators don't play better defense.
That's right.
There it is. Okay. Somebody mentioned about the all-star uniforms last night. They were awful. I will tell you what I did, JC.
I don't know why baseball does.
I turned on the All-Star game, and good thing when I turned it on, Cody Johnson was singing the national anthem. People don't know who Cody Johnson is. He's from the state of Texas, tremendous country singer. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. I watched the first inning, and then I didn't watch any more.
Well, you missed the.
It does not. I just doesn't. First of all, the uniforms I do not understand. Okay,
I hate it.
Because a guy who only watches postseason baseball pretty much now, and I grew up loving baseball, played it till I came to college, just absolutely love baseball.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't tell you more than 5 players in the entire game, and at least wear your damn uniform. Can I say, oh, he plays for the Yankees?
It's unbelievable. We grew up watching these guys play in their uniforms, and when they played in the National League Park, the American League players played in their roadies and vice versa, right? That's how it is. That's what it should be. This guy, Rob Manfred, I've never really been a fan as the commissioner of baseball. I think he tries too many hokey things. He stole the game out of Atlanta because of that ridiculous COVIDia and moved it to Colorado or whatever it was. I don't even know why he took it out of Atlanta. I used to know. I don't care because I don't like the guy. I think he's not done a good job at baseball. So what? He brought a pitch clock in. But there's too much fiddling with it. The inning you missed was the third inning. National League goes up 3-0. American League comes back. Juan Soto and those guys score 3 runs, tie the game. And then in the 5th inning, I think it was, the American League gets 2 runs, wins the game 5-3. The National League had 10 hits. The American League had 5 hits. The guy for Cleveland made the save. A guy from, I think it was Boston, won the game as the winning pitcher, if you can call it that. He threw 1 inning, whatever. And that's it. There's your All-Star game. American League wins, which means, I guess, do they still have the rule where the winner of the All-Star game gets to have the home field during the World Series?
I don't think they do that anymore, do they?
Okay, so that's out. All right. Well,
that was another dumb rule.
They shouldn't do that. That's right. That was a ridiculous rule. They tried to make it important, the All-Star game and so forth. Well, the team with the best record in the Major League, National League or American League, and they both play each other now, as we know, that team should have home field in the World Series. And, QB, the World Series used to be such a showcase for a National League team playing against an American League team. And now both leagues play each other constantly. So that's kind of lost a little luster for me as well. But I don't mind it. I mean, I think it's cool when an American League team shows up Fenway and a National League team maybe shows up at Camden Yards. Okay, I can live with that. But they do it all year long. The Toronto Blue Jays at San Francisco. And so that's the way it is in baseball now. The two leagues are the same thing almost. So the All-Star game is not as illustrious as it used to be. The Home Run Derby seems to get more interest than the damn game. So
yeah, Andy says Nike is a lost company. I have to agree with that. All right, we got some YouTubers here I want to get to, and then we'll get to some topics. First of all, Gator Josh on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says QB, the mighty Gator Brigade from Florida Army National Guard is up here in the SIP doing their annual training. Love it that they are called the Gator Brigade. I can't speak this morning. Josh also says, JC, by the way, you need at least 30 to 50 grams of, this is JC's health moment.
Oh,
you
good.
Need 30 to 50 grams of protein in your first meal of the day, and then your last meal of the day being only protein. Then try to get about 200 grams of total protein total for the day. So there you have it, JC. Go start pounding protein drinks.
I've lost 6 pounds of muscle mass. Terrible. I've lost 7 pounds of fat. Very good. And thank you for that tip, Josh. I think that's true about the protein. I don't get enough of it right
now. And then Low Bottom Sports on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. One of our we got to get him out of the negativity. He says Napier will give the same damn speech. Everybody gives the same speech at these things, right?
I mean, like I said, it's kind of a boring.
Everybody's going to say they're excited about their team. We've had a great off season. Our strength coaches have done a tremendous job. We got a great opportunity. The league is stronger than it's ever been. I have not watched, sit down like Buddy does and watch just 12 hours of SEC Media Days. I watched clips. Every coach said the same thing.
It's all rehearsed, dude. It's all rehearsed on both ends of the microphone. It's rehearsed on the media side. It's rehearsed on the answer side. We all know what the questions are going to be. The questions come at them. It's kind of like these debates. They know what the question. And I think unless there's some sort of boiled-in controversy, you're not going to have any hard-hitting stuff. This is all about getting together. It's a reunion. It's everybody saying hello to each other. How was your summer? Did you enjoy your cruise? Did you enjoy the off season? Recruiting time? Is the transfer portal driving you crazy? Is the NIL making you go crazy? And damn, you got a tough game to open with.
It really is, it's a vacation, so to speak, for all the beat writers.
Well, that's true, but that's right, because the guys coming in
their company pays for their trip.
Yeah,
so they get to go out probably to the hospitality room, do their drinking, go to this bar, sports bar, or whatever, and then they come back in the next day and they do it all again.
Yeah, so. I mean, but it is kind of like the unofficial official start of the year, and that's something at least to get excited about.
Here's a text on the Titan of our text line. Doesn't tell me who it is. After Billy speaks for 3 minutes, I will fall asleep. He obviously didn't. Whoever he says didn't watch the other coaches either.
What Billy should say is, man, I'm so excited about this game. If we don't beat Miami's ass by 3 touchdowns, there's going to be hell.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Now that would get people moving, right? So, I see what they're saying. I get it, but he's not going to ruffle any feathers out there in Dallas. And he's going to let his kids have fun with it. Grandmas, talk about it. Jane, Montreal, you guys, enjoy it, have fun. I'm going to do my typical thing, and then we're going to get on the plane. We're going to go right back to Gainesville.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
They're
not going to a Rangers game tonight. They're not doing any of that.
No. We're the 3rd team today, right?
Yeah. No. Well.
Yeah. I think we go on at 1:00 Central Time.
It's on SEC Network. You can watch it.
Yeah, but we haven't even left. Those kids haven't even left Gainesville yet. I bet the plane doesn't leave until 10, and they'll get there. They'll land.
Yeah.
They'll get in the little shuttle, go straight to the hotel, do the little thing, shuttle back to the airport. They'll be home
There you go.
tonight.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it.
Michael says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, as long as Cormani McLean is on the team, can Napier fine him now with NIL money like NFL coaches fine players as punishment for being late? I mentioned this yesterday. I would fine the hell out of him.
No.
I would suspend him. I would do everything. I don't know if Billy's doing that. I hope he is. I do know Kirby Smart is fining players.
Yeah, well, those driving incidents have to have some accountability. Georgia is becoming a school of showing lack of concern for dangerous things like this, and they can't let that get out of control. I don't know what it is about the driving up there in Athens. One thing I did hear, though, Nick Saban say yesterday was that he doesn't think because of him leaving and Kalen DeBoer coming in that the Alabama-Georgia rivalry is going to be any less of a intense rivalry. And, of course, Georgia plays at Alabama, fourth game of the year. Both teams will have an open date before that game. So that's going to be the first big one of the season, I think, for the league as a whole playing against each other. And that's gonna go a long way in telling us what these two teams are going to be all about. But I certainly expect them to be both in contention.
Yeah. So if you're tuning in for SEC Media Days today, on Wednesday, we have Alabama going first, then Mississippi State, then Florida, and then the Texas Longhorns. So
that's quite a day right there.
Quite a day there at the hotel.
You got a new coach. You got two new coaches in that lineup right there. So, and then Texas. So that's a big one. That's going to have a lot of things. SEC Network. That's where you're going to watch it all.
Zach asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, is Cormani good enough to start or get a lot of playing time this season? I know nothing about him. He ain't starting. I can tell you that right now. We got 2 NFL corners. He ain't starting. If he keeps up what I hear he's doing, I doubt he ever even dresses out, and I would be surprised if he's still on the team.
I mean,
unless he changes his attitude.
Was it just a tardiness for a meeting, or was there more to talk about there?
No, he apparently the word is he doesn't even show up for workouts. He's late for meetings.
Well, he won't.
The entire defense is being punished for it. So I guess you weren't on the program. This was, I guess,
I
we were
remember
talking with Scott Carter. I don't remember, but anyway, long story short is I've said back in the day, if you did that, you got your ass beat in the locker room. You did, and then they would get rid of you. There's no time or place in today's world for somebody to show up late and cause problems.
Yeah,
and apparently that's what he did at Colorado. So
he should have known before he checked off Florida on the box of where to go that Jason Marshall, he's not going to beat him out for that one of those positions, and Devin Moore, he's not going to beat him out.
But JC, you got to remember he's a walk-on, so he didn't have a whole lot of opportunities.
That's probably true.
Even though he was highly recruited, I don't know what's going on. Don't really care.
We spent a lot of time talking about a guy that's not a real issue to me.
Kanye Ron says Carson Beck has a Lamborghini and he wants to win those street drag races in Athens. There's how much supposedly he's making, anywhere between $3 and $4 million this year.
That's crazy, isn't it? Carson Beck's good, but Carson Beck, okay, all right. I mean, the last guy to win a title there was
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett.
He won 2.
Yeah, it was Stetson Bennett. Carson Beck hadn't won anything. He won the SEC game last year.
But JC, what they did was
what
they did was, I read this, where he would have been a first-round draft pick.
Okay.
And so they kind of took what Will Levis, because Will Levis went last year in the first round.
Yeah.
And so they kind of took what he's making as a rookie with the signing bonus and stuff, and the NIL and the boosters gave that to Carson Beck, so he would have stayed. So he stayed.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it makes sense. Why not?
Good deal for Carson Beck.
You're damn right it is. All right. Chris from Cottondale on the Titan MR text line says, I am a Napier fan. I want him to get this thing going. I am definitely in his corner. With that being said, if Napier is let go anytime in the next few years, do you think Kerwin could get the job done? Your thoughts on why and why not? I do. I mean, I had Kerwin on last week. When I hear Kerwin talk, if you closed your eyes, everything he says is almost verbatim of what Coach Spurrier says all the time.
Well, that's who we learned, though.
Kerwin is
Yeah.
Kerwin is probably almost 60, if not 60. I unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to coach a Power Five school as the head coach. He will, as I said, and we talked about it on the show the other day, he will not be an offensive coordinator for anybody. He did that 1 year for Charlie Strong, and it was a disaster. He will never do it again.
No.
He has to be in charge of his program. So he's as good a football coach as I've ever been around. Okay, they say Levis didn't go in the first. Wherever Levis went, they took that money. And anyway, that's what I heard. Disregard what I said then. Okay, here on the Titan Lamar text line, JC, we have a text here from Jonathan. He says, JC, I remember you back in your TV 20 days. If you were in Dallas today, what would you ask Billy Napier if you had one question?
Well,
they just took the mic out of your hand. It took you too long to think about it.
Well, hell, I mean, I prepare for things like this. You guys just threw that at me. Back in the 90s when Spurrier was the guy I interviewed, he's the only coach I interviewed because that was during my time when he was the head coach here. And one of the questions I asked him, and I'll get to the question that the caller asked, was, Coach Spurrier, have you ever been a 14.5-point underdog today? They have Florida State as 14.5-point underdogs. Are you guys going to get blown out? And Spurrier looked at me and he said, I've been 14.5-point underdogs before. In fact, many times I've won as a 14.5-point underdog at Duke. And he goes into his thing about Duke. I think I would ask Billy and say, listen, coach, expectations are low. How is that going to give your team an advantage in these games that many aren't believing you can win? And then the second part is defensively, why should we expect it to be better this year? Give us some reasons. And that's it. I would ask about the defense, and I'd ask about the low expectations that people have for his team. I would not ask him, how many wins will it take for you to keep your job? I'm not going to ask him that question because we already know the answer. And so those are the two questions. There you go. What will you tell your team? How will your team respond to the low expectations they have? And he'll say, well, we have the highest expectations a team could have because we in the locker room believe we can win every game we play. That's fine. Answer it however you want to answer it. But I can almost predict that's going to happen. The second one would be defensively. Tell us why we should expect to see your team rank higher this year and be able to keep Florida out of these high-scoring games that are required to win now. And hopefully he'll give us some context, and he'll give us some substance. But those would be the two questions: the expectation level and the defense. I'm good with the way Mertz runs the offense. I don't have to get into that. I don't have to get into all their issues they had logistically with the play calling and the time management and all that last year. All of that is not important today. What's important today is how the hell you guys going to tackle anybody. And, in my mind, I think the team has an advantage going into the year without a target on their back and going into the year with nothing but upside because of what happened last year. So I think that the typical answer is going to be, well, we believe we can win every game. Expectations are high in our locker room. What the fans and what you media guys say might be up to you, and I understand it, but that's not going to be the reality in our locker room. And that's going to be
here's one thing too you can think about, and time will tell, but the team last year was better than year one.
Right. I mean,
record-wise, they weren't, but they were a better team.
No, that's
no doubt about it. And this team will be better as well. Christopher Mayaka on the Titan MR text line says, interesting that a lot of these college players will take a pay cut by going professional. The system is really messed up. Oh, yeah. People forget, okay, there's only going to be 1 or 2% people that get an opportunity in the National Football League. And your rookie contract, depending on where you're drafted, you're not going to be making anywhere near what these kids in college are making. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Like our quarterbacks here are making more than I ever did in 1 year in the NFL, and I played 14 years.
No, it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
Coach.
So they're going to stay in college as much as they can because they also everybody thinks they're going to make it, but it's too damn hard, and it's a young man's sport. That's why the average career of an NFL player is 2 to 3 years.
And honest to God, QB, I don't think anybody in front of 3 years in college football has the physical fortitude to withstand 18 games now that the NFL is going to play. I mean, come on, dude. We're over here worried about them playing 13 regular season games. In the NFL, it's an 18-week grind, and then if you're good enough to go to the playoffs, you got 4 more to play potentially, or 3 more to play. So, man, I mean that does a lot to the body. I've never played, but I would think that's pretty stressful, and especially for these kids who are in college. I like the rule that says in 3 years you have to play before you go.
Well, your body cannot handle the National Football League.
No, you cannot take it. And I mean, look at Anthony Richardson. He is a Greek god, and yet he's vulnerable. He's vulnerable to injury in that league because of how common it is.
They are didn't play. Trained killers.
They are.
In the National Football League.
Right. He didn't even play half the season last year. Okay. So he's in a position that is highly targeted. I get that, but there's contact everywhere, QB. So it's the defensive players it's a whole.
All right. So JC, Joseph, who is not a Billy Napier fan, he says on the Facebook Live, but I'm going to question him on this. He says, Billy ain't told us crap in any of his pressers since being here. Okay. Joseph, could you let me know any college coach that you listen to that tell you anything about their team? Today will be no different. He better start politicking his fan base the way it's been going on the field. Again, negativity, that does you no good, Joseph. So if we start 5-0, I don't want you freaking talking on anything on this program. I just don't understand these people. I don't understand it.
I guess they're just tired of being tired.
I get that, but when they talk about he's not, what is he going to tell you? What can Caleb DeBoer? What did Nick Saban or what has any coach said at the damn podium and told you about their team?
Well, we have a process, and you have to accept
everybody has that process, JC. You have to go to class. You have to show up. You have to put the work in.
Well, listen,
I just don't understand. I don't understand it. This has nothing to do with Billy Napier. Tell me one coach out there that has been at SEC Media Days, because I could care less about the other conferences, that's told you anything about their team that you did not know. It's negativity. People, I'm telling you, I'm not Dr. Phil here, but you can control 2 things in your life, whether you play sports, whether you're in the business, whatever you're in. It's your damn attitude and your effort, JC.
Well,
remember that.
We had this conversation on Monday while I was sitting in Chicago. I mean, you can look at this as an opportunity, glass half full, or you can say, let's head for the hills and hope we win 5 games and have a glass half empty attitude. And usually the way you control, if you can control how you think, a lot of what your outcomes are going to be is determined by that in many cases. If this team goes in there free of pressure and looking to have fun on the field and play as hard as they can, win or lose, they can be happy about it.
So I just want to answer Buck's comment on Facebook Live right now. It says, all I know is Billy better beat Miami. Okay, I agree. If he doesn't, first of all, Billy ain't out there rushing the passer and tackling. Let's remember that. Okay. I don't care if it's JC at the coach. I just don't get it.
I tell you what, I have a staff. I can give you my.
But still, JC,
right,
I don't care who your staff is. I can tell you right now, if Kerwin Bell was the head football coach here, people would bitch about something.
Well, listen, I always, Well, listen, that's just the human nature of sports, QB. It's never going to be.
No, I don't. It doesn't bother me because I don't care about the coach speak. All I care about is we're going to go out there and we're going to play the best we can. Okay, that's all I know.
Yeah, I do know that, and I think that's the thing. He'll have these guys ready, man. That arena, that stadium on August 31st is going to be as exciting a place as any in the country on that day. And yes, the newness of the season has a lot to do with it, and a new slate, a clean slate, a new team, all of this accounts for that. But the enthusiasm and the excitement of the players is going to be on display, and nobody running through that tunnel in either uniform, including Miami's, is expecting to lose that game. Not one player is going to be on that field.
Exactly.
Not one player is going to think, man, I just want to get this shit over with, man, because I want to get out of here and go to the movies. Not one player is thinking that. They're all thinking about, playing well, winning the game, and getting off to a great start season. And that includes both teams.
I'm just going to say, Buck. This is my question to Buck. He says, if we don't beat Miami, things are going to go south, like him or not. This has nothing to do with Billy Napier, has nothing to do with Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway. Again, you can lose that game and then win the rest of your games. I don't know if people on here have ever played on a sports team where you lose a couple games, but then you go on a run. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
maybe he's
God
just
almighty,
referring to
the negativity.
Well, he may just listen. We all know how important a game this is. Okay, we all do, and nobody's going to be happy if Florida loses except Miami people, and vice versa. Listen, they got pressure on themselves too. This guy with Cristobal had some royal mess ups last year. I mean, horrible coaching decisions, and he's not as beloved either. I think what your caller is talking about is mostly with the temperature with the fan base. And I get it,
but again, JC, I've said this a million times, and I don't care what anybody says because I totally disagree with what they're going to say. The fan base, whether you like him or not, you better root for him because he's not going anywhere. I firmly believe that.
No, I don't think he is either.
Exactly. Financially, it ain't going to happen, people.
Exactly.
It's so too much money. You better root for him, or you're going to be sitting here next year calling this show. Billy ain't telling us nothing at the podium. Blah blah blah. You better just support. Whether you want to support him, support the damn kids running out of the tunnel. Let's do that. How about that?
And there will be 89,000 fans that will do that on August 31st, QB. I can tell you for a fact. You know that's true. You'll be there. I'll probably be there too. And it will be.
Well, I have to be there, JC.
Well, that's true. But it will be an event to behold. The start time at 3:30 gives us all plenty of time to absorb and get into the day, if you know what I mean. It's going to be a tremendous, tremendous atmosphere. I just hope and pray the weather holds up and we have a hell of a good time. And we will.
Wes says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon. Billy's a good coach, inherited a mess, which is very, very true.
Yeah.
These Debbie Downers will be on board when we go 5-0, get a life.
Okay.
Look, there's a bunch of coaches that have inherited. So somebody's going to text, well, so-and-so inherited mess. Look, all I can say is it was a mess. And regardless if anybody agrees with me or not, I firmly believe this. When Florida hit a downslide after Urban and Will and those guys left, when we did not have the facilities to compete on a level playing field, and then we get a facility, but then NIL hits and you were down, it's too hard to get back when all that stuff and snowball effect. Regardless of all that, you got to go win games. I don't care if freaking JC's dog is coaching the team.
Yeah.
The players have to go play and win games. All right.
Well, and the first chance is the 31st. Real quick,
sure.
Brian Shields. Hey, man, you can take a flight from Chicago to Manistee, only 30 minutes from Arcadia Bluff. Brian, Arcadia Bluff was my favorite golf course I've ever played in my life, other than Wolf Creek in Nevada and Mesquite, Nevada. But thank you for that, Brian. Arcadia Bluff, folks, if you ever want a golf trip, go to the Lake Michigan shores of Michigan, right across from Wisconsin. You'll never be disappointed. Yeah, you're right, QB. I mean, listen, these kids know what's at stake. They're going to be fired up. You're going to have a hell of a day on the 31st. I cannot overstate it. We all know it. It's going to be a 3:30 kickoff. Everybody's going to have time to get all ready for the game, if you know what I mean. I can't wait. You can't wait. We're only just a month away. But I do believe you're right, and we are both right. You got to go in there with an optimistic tone to yourself, or else you're going to get run over. Because I can promise you the Miami kids are going to feel the same way. They're going to feel the same way. They're expecting to win. They're going to go in there thinking they can win. Florida has to be mentally ready for this, and I think they will be. I mean, listen, it's a whole new season. We don't have to worry about anything that's happened before now. We don't.
Yeah. Georgia Gator says on the Titan More text, I hope Billy does well because we can't keep getting rid of coaches. We need stability. If we improve on clock management, self-inflicted mistakes, we'll win more games last year. I agree to a point of that. But the thing that you left out, Georgia Gator, is whether you disagree with clock management or silly mistakes, which you can't do. It's you have to get off the field on third down. You cannot be historically bad 100%. Year after year defensively.
100%. Right. And turning the ball over once in a while wouldn't be a bad idea either. Hey, QB, we got to pick our golfers for the British Open.
We are. We're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Silverback concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it.
All right.
We stand by it. I got to get to some of these texts real quick. There's a million of them.
I love it. That's engage.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
What's the matter? Can we read the question? Go ahead.
Well, there's a million of them, and some of them are too long to read.
Okay. Brevity, folks. Brevity gets you on the air.
This is, I don't know who this is from. Says some of these kids are big fish in little ponds in high school. Monty McLean is a small fish in a big ocean now. Okay. There's no question, Daryl.
A lot of concern about this McLean kid.
He realizes he's not the best player. This text here on the Titan Tomorrow from text line from Frank says Cormani's agent tweeted, "None of these rumors are true, and that he's doing well. And what is he supposed to? His coach said the rumors are not true. Take for what it's." Well, of course, his agent's not going to come out and say my client has been late for meetings and not showing up for workouts. I'm going off what I'm hearing from people that are close to the program. So
there you go.
Regardless, he ain't going to be a factor in this year's team, in my opinion.
Yeah. So can we close the book on this kid, please? I mean, do we have to keep talking about?
People are excited when you pick. It's funny how we can pick up a highly recruited kid who was supposed to come here, went to Dion, didn't play for Dion because he had the same issues. He comes here, everybody's all excited, and then they want to blame something else, but it's the kid's issues. All right, JC. Before we get to our golf picks, I wanted to bring this up. I'm going to ask you this question.
Sure.
If the Gators go 8-4 and Missouri goes 10-2, who gets the at-large bid?
Because they don't play each other is the first problem with that. I think it just goes to Florida because of strength of schedule. I think they would be the team. You cannot tell me with the number one rated difficult schedule in the country, with the hardest back-to-back games in the country, if Florida can pick off a couple of these teams, win 8 games, because to win 8 games, you're going to have to beat some of these teams that you're a big underdog to. If that happens, you cannot leave them out, man. There's no way. Now, Missouri is Missouri. That's a good team. I think Florida, the answer would be Florida. But Missouri 10-2, that's going to be tough. Listen, it's going to be tough to keep in a 12-team league, a playoff. It's going to be very difficult to take a 10-team SEC team, a 10-win SEC team, and not include them into the at-large spot. They may be one of the 11 or 12 seed, perhaps. I don't know. And what would be the problem if both of them would make it? But I can just say this with a certain amount of certainty in my mind, given the schedule, that if Florida wins 8 games,
they're in. They're getting in. They've already. Well, I shouldn't say. I talked about it on that website or whoever it was. There's only one team in America that can get in at 8 wins, and that's the Gators. So
that's what I think. And
let's just win more games than that, and we'll be okay.
Well,
all right. Let's get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. We have the British Open this weekend. Last week, we had the Scottish Open. I picked Bobby McIntyre. He wins the event. So now we're moving over to Troon.
Troon.
Somebody on YouTube told me, I don't know if they live in Scotland, but they said it has been raining so much over there that the greens and the fairways are soft, but the rough is just brutal.
You got to keep the ball in play. I think the guys who have the advantage of doing that on those courses are the ones who are more used to them. And that would include a lot of the guys who are from the area. Now, McIlroy's played the bulk of his golf in this country, but I think he knows that golf over there. So without any hesitation, once again, I'm going to take Rory McIlroy, QB.
You're taking Rory.
Hell yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with Vic Hovland.
Yeah. We just kind of switched up there. All right, Victor Hovland's a good pick, and I think he's due to do something. He's kind of been quiet this year, as you know, and maybe this could be his breakout week. Tommy Fleetwood's a golfer who I think is a local favorite there. I'm going to take him. He hasn't won anything big. Maybe he breaks through. He's a good iron player.
Fleetwood.
Very good iron player, Tommy Fleetwood.
All right, I'm going to go with an American. I'm going to go with Tony Finau.
Good call. I'm going to take another. How many are we doing? 3 or 4, 5? What? 4?
We'll do 4, I guess.
All right, give me the Frenchman, Matthew Pavon. I think he's going to It's a kind of an odd pick, I know, but he's going to be on their Ryder Cup team. I like his game. Give me Pavon.
All right, give me the South Korean Ju Young Kim.
Shocker! I can't believe you're picking him.
He
all right,
played decent last week.
So I've got 3 European players. I can't go to work today without knowing that I took some American player. Justin Thomas played pretty well last week until he faltered, but at the end. But I think he's turning his game around, and it's more under control. He's going to be the kind of guy that can shoot at sticks without much fear. It's probably a bad pick, but I'm going to just go with him and take Justin Thomas.
JT. That's not a good pick, probably.
No, well, it's not. But listen, he did play well last week. He played much better last week than he has.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Okay, Tyler.
I think the X-Man's going to play well. I'm going to go with Xander.
Chafflet.
Yeah, so that'll be my 4. So recapping the Peachland Dental picks for the the British Open. The Open for the champion golfer of the world.
The gold medalist and champion golfer of the year, Justin Thomas, USA. No, on the tee.
On the tee from
USA, Justin Thomas.
Hello. That guy, I don't think he does it anymore. They have a new guy. So JC has Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, Matthew Pavon, and Justin Thomas.
And watch Thigala play well this weekend. Thigala is an underdog.
Victor Hovland, Tony Finau
from USA.
From South Korea, Ju Young Kim. And from the USA. Xander Schauffele.
That actually, Schauffele is a very good pick. He's great on links courses. He really is good. I like your pick, Schauffele. I kind of wish I had taken him instead of Thomas, but whatever. But from USA, maybe we'll have a winner. I always want, McIntyre is the hot name over there in the United Kingdom right now. Everybody's in love with this guy, and he gave the Scottish a thrill. And so, we'll see. I like watching this QB, and I like recording it and watching it later in the day than in the morning because I just got.
Well, I like to do that too, but I go to my
wake
app
up and
and
you turn
I keep
it on.
the scores. I like to just wake up and watch it.
Yeah.
So
wake up and turn it on. Yep.
Okay, real quick. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. 2022, the 150th British Open at St. Andrews. Cam Smith of Australia wins his first major title by 1 stroke over Cam Young and Roy McIlroy. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, I'll see you Friday from Dallas, Texas. And then
we got one last text
good.
here.
Right.
William and Alpharetta says, George. JC, have you played the new college football video game yet?
No, I've never done video games. I appreciate the question, but I've never done them. I hear a lot of anticipation for gamers. Unfortunately, I was growing up in a generation where gaming was not part of my life. The first big game I played on video, and I did it for 10 minutes, was that game on Atari where you had 2 white lines go up like this and a ball went across, and you hit it like that, back to each other. It was called Pong? Something. And after I got bored with that in 5 minutes, I went outside and climbed a tree. And then after I climbed a tree, I got a tennis ball and threw it against a brick wall and pretended that I was Nolan Ryan. And then after that, I got my little pistol and put a little roll of red caps in it and stuck it in there and pretended I was John Wayne shooting Indians with my cap gun. Boom, boom, boom. And then after I got done with that, I went to the hose, I turned it on, and I drank it right out of the hose like this in the front yard. And I don't know what I was drinking, and I did not care. And then while I was doing that, my dad changed the oil in the Chevy Nova, which had a 305 V8, in the driveway, took the oil pan, and went out behind the ligustrum bushes at the backyard and dumped the oil in the yard. So today, we would be basically blacklisted for being environmental killers, for being cultural, something wrong with the cap guns. I would have all kinds of problems because I wasn't this or that. I don't care. I drank acid water, and here I am today at the ripe old age of 59, and I feel great. I don't know how I made it.
Speaking of drinking water, I remember in Mississippi, like in in junior high school football, even in high school football, and my dad was the coach.
Yeah.
When you had a water break, you'd go to one of those sawhorses with the pipe hooked up to the hose where there's holes squirting water up.
So you just stuck your mouth. Yeah.
So you'd be in line and they'd blow a whistle. So there'd be like 5 holes with water squirting up.
And you drink it.
And the next 5 jump in there. And as soon as the coach blew the whistle, that's all the water you got. And it was like a 5-second drink. And you have to guzzle. Nowadays, coaches would be thrown in jail for doing that.
Oh, my Lord. Yes. Yeah. And by the way, folks, the shocking news here. In 1974, in July, it was 98 degrees. I can promise you it was. So, anyway.
So Andy, before we let you go, Andy wants you to do an Aggie cheer for
No, I got to get in the mood for that. Can we get to closer to football season before I start?
My God.
What is it? Let me get to Texas and watch some of that, and I'll come back and give you some giggles.
Right.
Aggies will be here week 3, man. That's the second. Well, Sanford.
Oh, I wonder, I can't remember because I was so fascinated. I was so fascinated when we played there 2 years ago. All I did was watch those yell leaders and the people do the all that stuff in the stands. Do they bring them on the road?
Yes, when I saw Johnny Manziel win the Heisman Trophy in Tuscaloosa in 2014, they had the whole marching corps, and then they had the yell leaders with their white uniform and their towels coming out of their belts or hips, and their big arms and their tight shirts going like this, and
they do that all the time. They're flipping off the other team, I guess.
Whatever, and hey, man, there are no female cheerleaders. They have a dance team in the basketball program, but they do not have female cheerleaders on the sideline with the yell leaders. It's just a different culture. It's a different traditions there are huge, and nobody who goes to Texas A&M ever complains about getting a job when they graduate. I can tell you that. No. So that is a great school, but it's a very different place, and you have to get into it and you have to embrace it. Just like fans have to embrace this schedule and embrace this this team that's going to be presented on August 31st. And if you do that, you might find yourself happier than you think after the result on that Saturday afternoon.
JC, real quick, speaking of that, is it harder to get into A&M than it is Texas?
I think they're very similar. See, A&M is
right. I know that.
It's an engineering school, right? And Texas is more on the business side of things. So I think and medical side of things. So they're very different schools in that regard, but they're both just incredible institutions that will place you in a spot where you can succeed in life if you go through their programs. And I don't know what's better to live in College Station or Austin, 2 very different towns. Austin is massive. They're not even close. I mean, College Station is a college community, small town, land everywhere. Austin is a big city. But UT is the 40 acres, man. It's got the history A&M doesn't have. Texas has the history on the football field that A&M doesn't have, and they have a little bit more, I would say, sports tradition, winning tradition at Texas. I mean, they've got great stories. One of the best stories I ever saw was about the kid who died, but walked on and under Darrell Royal and got a job. I can't even remember his name. I watched the movie on Netflix, but it was a great story. And listen, Texas is a historic program. I am so glad they're in the SEC. I'm so glad Oklahoma's coming with them. 2 blue bloods. Texas has gotten better now with Sarkisian. They were a whipping post here for the last 15 years until Sark showed up, and now here they are. Remember, he was 8-5 when one of his first years, so they weren't great. They turned great last year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the semifinals again this year. To tell you the truth.
All right, Greg asked me here. And I'll let you go, JC.
Yeah.
He says, QB, do you get upset after loss when you played? Would you watch the games now if you didn't get paid to be there? Yeah, I watch. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a booster, Greg. I go to the games even when I wasn't calling the games.
We watch
I get upset when we get upset when we lose. I mean, I'm not happy, but I'm like, life goes on. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, well, you're not playing either. I mean,
right.
But I mean, QB and I would watch the Gators every Saturday when he wasn't having to be there. And one of the things I loved about Shane, he'd go the first half and then come back and watch the second half on TV.
That's right.
And that's fine. I mean, it's a tough place to watch a game when you're sweating, but it's a great place if you love the Gators. And so, I mean, hey, man.
So, all right, we're going to try to get more positivity on this program.
That's a great idea.
To everybody that just is miserable, whether it's our coach, our quarterback, our left tackle.
Yeah, and if you're miserable, then just save yourself the agony of watching it then, and we'll let you know how it goes. I just think you got to be excited about it.
Pick up the game of golf and try to be the best you can, and that will change your life.
All
right, JC.
All right,
it may drive you insane too. JC, join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick timeout, come back. I'm going to try to get to some of these texts and stuff. It's a million of them. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning.
Thank you.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors, Sutter Pro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors are Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank JC again for joining us on the Titan More Hotline. Again, if you missed our Peachland Dental British Open picks, JC has Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, Matthew Pavone, and Justin Thomas. I have Vic Hovland, Tony Finau, Tom Kim, and Xander Schauffele. So we'll see what happens this week. Buck says, great show, QB. We can't have positivity without a little negativity, I suppose. Look, I get it, people. I totally get it. But what I try to say is, and yes, fans buy tickets, fans go to the games. If you don't buy your ticket, somebody else is going to buy the ticket and go. I can promise you that. There's a damn waiting list. Okay. So there's really nothing, even me as a former player, there's not one thing I can do, to help the Florida Gators win football games. Okay. All I can do is be supportive. Are we going to lose some games? Absolutely we are. But then you just got to forget about it and come play the next week. That's the great thing about sports. And again, being negative about this guy, that coach, what happened last year, what happened the year before, what happened 22 years ago, has no bearing on what's going to happen August 31st and moving forward. That's all I can say. If it goes south, it goes south. Maybe they make a coaching change. Maybe they don't. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they can financially make it happen. And I hope it doesn't happen because we need to win games. So anyway, Greg says he doesn't see a 4-loss team getting in over a 2-loss team. Well, it depends on your schedule now. It's just like the NCAA tournament, Greg. There's at-large bids. And with Florida's strength of schedule compared to Missouri's, Florida would go in over Missouri probably. Live a healthier lifestyle like JC does with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie, when you eat better, you feel better. And that is so very, very true. Conyer Ron on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, how many hole-in-ones this week on the postage stamp? Boy, that's a great question. They've had a few over the years in the Open on that hole. It's a difficult hole. If you've, for the people that aren't aware of it, they call it the postage stamp because the green is so small. It's surrounded by pot bunkers, but it's only about 100 yards long. You can go anywhere from hitting a sand wedge to a 3-iron, depending on the wind and the rain and stuff there. You can play that hole, by the way, at Golden Ocala, down in Ocala. There's no wind usually down there, though. It's not whipping off the coastline. That's the only difference. Mark says, somebody on Facebook listed all the Bear QBs since Bobby Douglas in 1999. There were 3 QBs that year. Did you get hurt that year? I was banged up, but I was with the Bears from 93, I was there in 93, 94, 95, and 96. Left for 97 and 98, came back 99, 2000, and 2001. Those are the years I was there. Dan says FSU thought they'd get in last year, so schedule does matter. Agree. So anyway, again, today, if you've been sleeping under a rock, the Gators will be in Dallas. And maybe Billy will give y'all something you want to hear. Maybe he'll say we have 0 chance of winning any games this year. We are not going to condition or lift weights anymore. We're just going to show up on game day and see what happens. That would be something new for sure. Anyway, let's talk about my good friends at CertaPro Painters of Gainesville, area's leader in painting excellence and proud partner of the Florida Gators. They're offering professional painting services for homes and businesses, plus cabinet refinishing and carpentry repairs. Visit CertaPro.com for a free estimate. I think if I remember correctly, the Gators are the 3rd team today. You got Alabama. Be interesting to see Kalen DeBoer there, especially when he goes on set with Coach Saban. Let me get some more of these before we get out of here. I can pull it up. Again, with Coach Saban. Here it is right here. Where's the one I wanted to read? Why won't it come up? All right. Joseph says, I have a hard time believing Shane wouldn't lose his mind if he was a head coach and his team couldn't get 11 guys on the field over and over. We aren't asking for unreasonable. Joseph, I get that. You beat your point to death. Okay. I think Billy hired some coaches that didn't need to be coaching here. That's not on the head coach. That is his assistant's responsibility. He has gotten rid of those people. Okay. If it happens again this year, then it's on Billy, but it wasn't on Billy. I don't know how to explain that. People have responsibilities as a staff, even though you are the head coach. He got rid of those guys. So we will see. But yeah, it drove me crazy because I say a lot of, y'all don't listen to the radio, but I see a lot of things that I'm not supposed to stay on air, but I do, that I notice that it ain't even my job and I'm doing another job and I notice what's going on, if that makes any sense. But I think he's cleaned all that up. Again, I'd rather us play better defense. I'd rather us continue having those silly mistakes, but play better defense, and it'll be better. And he wants to know if I ever met Bobby Douglas. I did not. Did not ever meet him. I hope y'all enjoyed today's program. Some good conversation on here. And Mark says the postage stamp has the coffin bunker. Good luck getting out of there. Yeah, there's some deep bunkers on that hole. I've been at them a few times at Golden Ocala, not at Troon though. So anyway, we'll recap what Billy says. Hopefully he says, as I said, some good stuff for y'all. But Graham Mertz, Montrell Johnson, and Shamar James will be representing the Gators today. Have a great day, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.